Welcome to our this webinar today. Good afternoon, Debrita ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes,
Simran, you are
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you for joining us today. We will start the session shortly. For, wait for some other participants. Welcome to this webinar on the role of youth. Just a second. So, welcome to this webinar on the youth, the role of local youth in resilient building. As we all know, as we all face challenges like climate change, natural disaster, and uh, facing the young people have unique idea to role to play uh, with their strong ideas, unique ideas to make building resilience. Uh, this session will focus on how we can support and empower youth with resilient buildings. And now I like to invite our moderator today in this session, Debarita, ma'am, from Balaksha Bharat. Uh, Over to you, ma'am, and welcome.
Thank you, Simran. And today's topic, I must admit, is a subject very close to my heart. Not only because I work for an organization called Bal Raksha Bharat, globally known as Save the Children, and we work with children and youth all over the world, but also because this is something that gives us a lot of hope for the future, even though we know that the climate crisis is upon us, and we are actually looking at the devastating impact that is making itself demonstrated all throughout the world. Even in India, if you see, every month we have been facing something or the other. So much so that it has become somewhat common news that on TV, if we open it every month, there will be something or the other. Even if we ignore the very local um, extreme weather events, and almost if you see the data globally, or even in India, if you see 17 out of 20 youth are impacted by hydrometeorological weather events every single year. If you look at the recent studies and the reports that have come up, I think in 2021 UNICEF came up with a report which deemed this crisis as a child rights crisis. And for me, when I'm working with children and youth, yes, there is a difference in maturity. There is a difference in how they think. There is a difference in the attitudes and mindset. But it's not that children become youth overnight. It's a process of growth. It's a process of evolution. And so when I'm working with children, I can't say I won't work with youth. Or if I'm working with youth, I can't say I won't work with children. So for me, it is a continuum. It is a continuum of interventions, of passion, of movement, of momentum, of a lot of things, of a lot of interface and dynamics. One more very interesting fact that I want to share with you is when we're talking about a sustainable world, and when we're talking about working with children and youth, we almost always tend to look at children and youth as a sort of homogeneous group, or maybe even two homogeneous groups. But it's not that. Children and youth come from different contexts, have different kinds of attitude, they have different kinds of experiences, life experiences that shape their thinking. And it's also about intersectionalities. I mean, what kind of context they are coming from, what kind of attitude they are coming from, what kind of life experiences they have had, what kind of the thought processes, way of looking at things. There's a lot of intersectionalities that we need to think about. There's a lot of question of equity and inequity as well. So it's not that youth are a homogeneous group, and just because they are youth they have to do something, or not like that. So something that interests me very much is that even now, even when we are talking so much about children and youth as change agents, and interestingly, we just had the APMC DRR in Philippines concluded, and very interestingly, one of the APMC DRRs, which was previously held in India, came up with this phrase, children and youth as change agents, agents for change. So given that, and given the huge number of debates and arguments and whatnot going on in different platforms on equality and equity, especially inclusion of disability, gender, and so on, such and such, one fact comes up very, very interestingly. There was a report in 2020 by UN Women which said that if you look at the global scenario, 75% of the parliamentarians are men. 73% of the people who hold managerial positions are men. In fact, very interestingly, 70% of all climate negotiators are across the platforms, and almost all peace negotiators are men. So even when we are talking about transformations, transformative changes, youth as change agents, and talking about climate negotiations, climate justice, and all those very important things, why is it that we continue to ignore the intersectionalities and the questions of equity and inclusion? So that is something that I would like to like the audience to think about in essence. But to start with, I definitely firmly believe that yes, there is a lot of vulnerability among children and youth given their contexts, but given the right knowledge and skills, they are the leaders that we are looking for. They can bring in transformational change, given the fact that the very first thing is that we are loaded up with a lot of preconceived notions and judgmental biases. which is something that they don't have because of the way they have this fresh outlook, that fresh perspective. They also have a lot of passion, and they also have a deep link with the community. So they already have that human element, that sensitivity towards their own context, towards their own community, towards the hardship that people are going through in their community, their neighborhood, their locality, their family, that they have that perspective already in place to become great leaders if we just provide that right knowledge and right skills. And by we, I don't mean people from big organizations or academia or alliances or anything. What I mean by we is anyone who is in place to give that mentorship, anyone who is in place to provide those kind of nudges and that show that pathway. So given that, I believe in order to look at the increase in adaptive threshold and building resilience and in the local context, bringing up local solutions in the local context. Localization is becoming a buzzword. I mean, it has been a buzzword for several years now, but lately it has gained a lot more momentum. But if we look at the localization, if we deep dive into the concept of localization, then we have to have that perspective of children and youth as change agents at the local context with local solutions from local problems. So given that perspective, and I'm really hopeful with the panel that we have today. We have eminent experts and young people who are working in this context. And let me, without spending any more time on this, let me just quickly take you to the our next speaker, who is Mr. Krishna Mondal. Give me just 1 minute. Yeah. Yes. Mr. Krishna Prasad Mondal plays two significant roles in advancing geospatial technology applications. He serves as an IT officer at the Institute of Remote Sensing and GIS at Jahangirnagar University, Bangladesh. And he also works as a GIS consultant, STC, with the water team at the World Bank. In addition, Krishna is an officer in Youth Mappers at the Institute of Remote Sensing and GIS, where he contributes to mapping underserved regions. This initiative improves data accessibility for humanitarian and development work, facilitating rapid response and disaster management worldwide, which is something very, very interesting. And we look forward to hearing more from you, Mr. Mondal, in terms of how you look at youth in this resilience building, and how you would like to share with us your insights on this subject. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you and good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today as a part of the important conversation webinar.
Krishna, in a bit louder mode.
Okay.
Speak,
Can you hear me now?
loudly.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now it's okay. Now it's
okay.
okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. So in our, all this changing rapidly, where we face challenges like climate change, natural disaster, socio-economic disruption. So like we need to recover from that side. So how can we recover that things? So what will be the role of the youth, like to do like in the resilience building process? So now I'm sharing my some slides and like some works, so that will be good for everyone. So I'm presenting my like one presentation based on the my experience. A moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
we can, Krishna.
Okay, so like I can share like 4 agenda, like why I am here, and another is geospatial science in resilience building. Then how can we like our youth are working for resilience building? So like you mentioned my 3 identity, but another identity is that I am open mapping guru for the humanitarian OpenStreetMap map team, like for open data source. So that will be good on because this is voluntary activity for encouraging local youth. So that activity, like I'm serving for Asia Pacific region. So there are almost 135 open mapping guru from our Asia Pacific region. We are trying to help people like for training, for service provide and other things. So how can we work? So I'm showing the next one. Like for geospatial science in resilience building, there are so many like there are so many sectors. So I'm focusing on disaster preparedness and risk assessment part, and another is engagement of youth in geospatial initiatives. So I'm not talking about the other phenomenon because I'm focusing on the youth in for disaster management. So I'm telling about our I'm sharing our story from Jahangir University. We just found youth mapper in 2017 because this youth mapper chapter is mainly organized by Texas University USA from USA. They are planning that every when geospatial data is like the cost of geospatial data management is too huge and is not open access. So to do open access of that data set for disaster management is need to be open. So they found the open like a youth mapper chapter for volunteering the student and like the young people. So we established that chapter in our university with 38 dedicated member. So all member are different sector, like they are from different subject, different sector. Some people from volunteer side, some people from uh, geography department, some people from anthropology department, some people from geology. So all people did, I mean, most of the people don't have the geospatial knowledge, but this chapter, like this is easy type of work. Yeah, if we train you like if we train or if someone train like 30 minutes, you can contribute for mapping. So how this map work for the disaster response? So you can see on map like in Bangladesh, there are several kind of disaster happen almost every year, like riverbank erosion, then flood, flash flood and flood, then cyclone. So this mapping through by on riverbank erosion area. Uh, so you can see the blue those are household. So household inside those household affected by riverbank erosion. Another like the more black area in black and like ash color line is inside the river. Those are like affected by riverbank erosion. So we got data set from OpenStreetMap, like the platform. I need to mention that platform name is OpenStreetMap. So you can contribute the data inside that OpenStreetMap, then you can download, then you can analyze, and rapidly you can find out how many household and I mean how much how many kilometer road are destroyed by a flood and like by the like riverbank erosion. So we can easily find out the destroyed area and like the damaged area. So government and local people can easily access that area and can support that people. So this one, another is you can see this is easily you can find out if we configure the things, you can easily find out. I mean, not only me, if it is like 30 minutes, then you can run the code and you can find out this type of map in your area, like within one click. So you can find out how much area in your area like affected by flood. So that will be good for local people. And if you composite the flood area and also the settlement area, then you can find out how many household damaged by the flood. So these are things. And this is another thing like where we are working. You don't need any software. Only you need internet and a PC. So in internet, you can find out, I mean, there are so many project lists for today. You can contribute here which project you want to contribute. Like here you can see the trending like disaster like on Andhra Pradesh flood mapping. So there are some mapping people, they are contributing from different part of the world, not from your country. You can contribute any places of the world from your home. So this is the good one. And like the Youth Mapper chapter in Bangladesh nowadays almost 50 chapter and almost 250 people working in the chapter. So we almost every day people are contributing how much, like 100 people, they are contributing almost every day. So for my topics is like local youth contribution, but I'm sorry for that. I am like contributing that from you. I mean, we have a concept that global village. So we can contribute anywhere in not only Bangladesh, anywhere in the world from one place. So this type of work you can do like within, I mean, you can get only 3-minute training, 30-minute training, and you can contribute the this type of work. So local people can contribute like everywhere. And using this motto, we almost contribute almost 30 project, and this project is free of cost. Anybody can like contribute, and we are working as a volunteer. So as a Youth Mapper chapter, we arrange different type of training program, and we attend different type of program. Like you can see is the first photo is like Mapillary program. Mapillary is another type of open mapping program. You can see the street view in Google Map. So you can contribute in Google Map. You cannot contribute in Google Map, but you can contribute open source data mapping like Mapillary. So you can create your own area 3D view. Then you can digitize that type of in OSM. Digitize means you can contribute the geospatial database using that Mapillary software or OSM software. And then another photo is like we're contributing. So people from open mapping hub, Asia Pacific, they came to our institute and they give us some training. Then we announce some mapping activity based on disaster risk assessment. Then we arrange we arrange International Women's Day special mapathon. Mapathons means we are doing some mapping activity in sitting in together in online or in person. Then we contribute different part of the world. Then we we are mainly education institution. So we introduce that open mapping hub and open data source to our research. So we train the people. The all program are open, so anybody from anywhere they can attend via online, via in person. So we train them, and I mean they are working. So there are some another some program like our team attend in just a hackathon. So we the team Nirvik, the 5 students from our team, so they contribute in just a hackathon and they get some prize from the hackathon. It is the innovation type of work. They make a solution for disaster risk reduction. So that type of youth activity, there are some is volunteer activity. So people expect some recognition. So Texas Tech University and USAID Bangladesh, USAID, Allied USAID, they every year they categorize, they support the voluntary team. So based on our activity, we got some award. One award Youth Mapper Community Outreach Award. Another is Mapping Matrix Award. I mean, we have done a lot of mapping across the world, and we was the champion for 2022. Another, we got some sponsorship from the Youth Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific, is under the Humanitarian OpenStreetMap. So they give us some money for arrange program and something. And there are some competition, like we keep list the most important one, and we almost got awarded for 15 for the challenges. So this is my contribution, from my side. I'm also working. Not only I'm not giving the training, I'm also working. So you can find out if you contribute in the all, so you get some recognition. So I have mapping is 160 on hour in total, and there are some calculation how many building, how many roads, how many project, and how many auto I have digitized, and how many countries I have contribute. You can see almost 30 country. I have contributed almost 30 country. So the country list is here. So from Youth Mapper side, they are supporting us by training, and for web mapping platform. So if we want to contribute for the disaster area, there's the flood affected area, for landslide area and other things area, we can easily help for mapping. But we can help by mapping, and those help last time we finished for Afghanistan. There are some earthquake and there are some flood. So they cannot go that area easily. Which area most populated and which area not populated. I mean, the government side, they don't have the geospatial data. So government, they ask the international organization need to help them. So people from outside of the area, they use the high resolution image, then they digitize the area, and then the rapid response team, they can easily identify which area more affected. So this type of initiative completed by the team. So if you're any you're any organization, any local education institute on to introduce this type of mapping
Krishna,
initiative.
I'd request you to finish within the next 1 minute.
Okay. If you want to, yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. If you want to want to introduce this type of mapping activity in your education institute, in your organization, we can help. Is as if it's voluntary, so we can help you. So thank you so much. Thank you for calling me here. Okay.
Thank you so much, Krishna, and this is really encouraging. I mean, the kind of a very interesting perspective that you presented here in youth as geospatial data managers, and I'm very encouraged with your presentation, and I am definitely planning to share whatever insights you have shared here, and the kind of engagement that you have with a lot of people, a lot of children and youth champions. We are currently in the process of working with children and youth champions to come up with their demands and their perspectives on the climate action context in India. Across the country, we are talking to people, not people, but specifically children and youth of different contexts, rural, urban, tribal, so different areas and different places. So we are talking to them. And I'm definitely going to take this forward to those children and youth so that they can also be encouraged to, come forward and, contribute towards this kind of, this is a very innovative way of, contributing towards risk reduction. Thank you very much, Krishna. And it has been a very engaging 15 minutes that we spent with you. And I look forward to hearing from you more if time permits, and or also in other webinars. And I'm sure the people here who are in the audience has taken your words to heart, and they have also taken the information that you provided in your presentation on how to engage themselves if they want to. But I'm also hoping that you'll be amenable to sharing your presentation with the audience so that they can also look at those sites and explore and see what they want to engage in or not. Thank you so much, Krishna. I will quickly move on to Mr. Nilanjan Mishra. Nilanjan Mishra is currently working as a PhD scholar, University of Calcutta. He is the founder of Pathar Pratima Runners Organization in Sundarban. His working area is agroecology, pollination studies, pollinator conservation, folk rice and seed conservation, community development, disaster risk reduction. He has been awarded 2 fellowships to work in Saurashtra Kutch region and Sundarban. And I would request Nilanjan Mishra to talk about youth-led disaster preparedness in rural areas. Nilanjan, you have 15 minutes for your discourse. Over to you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for having me here, and thanks for creating such platform. Yes, I will share some experience that we are having since 2020. It was 2020, and we were all home due to these pandemic regulations and all. And this Amphan happened. That was after 2009 Ayla. There are a few another cyclones there, but Amphan is one of the most effective cyclones so far, and followed by Yas 2021. So 2020, I mean, during Amphan we did not have any prior experience how to do this preparedness and everything. But just after that night, we witnessed the damaged spots. We walked around, say, 5 to 8 kilometers, and then we started talking to the community. And one thing I will ever remember forever, that at that night, I mean, during the night of Amphan, we lost all of our networks. I mean, no service was there. So absolutely we were cut off any kind of online service. Even we cannot call if we want. So that was a claustrophobic memory. which encouraged me to take further steps as preparedness. So after that, we started working on villages, talking to the community, and they are actually guiding us how to work, which field to work. So all this, and for 2021 again, there was a great flood caused by Yas. So that time we had a little bit of idea what should be preparedness, how to do it a little bit. We used just our observations from Amphan, our common sense, and I remember that we divided 3 or 4 groups, and some of them took the responsibility to announce newses to the villager, and some a group took the initiative to take care about the shelter and like this. And we ensured one thing, that and at least say 12 to 15 hours before that landfall anything starts, we are done with our evacuation. We are done with evacuation, especially for children, for women, and older one, and the check of embankment, everything. So this way we try to form a structured something about preparedness. And I was feeling one thing, that we desperately need a trained group and equipped group, because I saw one thing, that even after 76 years of independence, we do not have well trained and well equipped disaster risk reduction groups in our villages. And my common sense said that it should be there, at least all of those villages which are situated just beside the river. They must have their own DRR teams, and they must have the DRR manuals in their mother tongue also, because I searched for some books, some manuals, and I saw that almost nothing is available in Bengali. So these are in my mind, continuously working on the villages, and continuously thinking of it. And so we can arrange. We always give a free call to all the villages we know we work. And another thing that actually through which I felt raged about, that is 2 villages I remember. They were almost completely devastated by the flood, just because they didn't have any proper weather report, time to time weather report. They thought that Yas will be the same as Amphan, but actually not. For Yas, it was a great flood. It was not like Amphan. It did not blew like 200, 192 kilometers per hour. The speed was only 70 to 90. The gusting speed was, I remember, 110 to 100 to 110. But the flood was too much. But there was no such network through which they can get the proper news. Rather, there were fake news from news portals. So that actually inspired me to do something. And then I searched for it. Prism is here. Prism is one of the collaborators. So I headed to Prism. I pleaded them. I asked them how to do, and probably they're the only one institute, the single institute, which can teach us this DRR, disaster risk reduction, the steps, how to get prepared. So we arranged 5 days residential training in Govardhana campus in Prism. Prism arranged this, and we arranged 18 volunteers from 2 villages who took part in this. And it was a great relief for us, because before Javad, I can remember the team was here and they started working just as I thought, just as I imagine that there will be groups. There will be at least 3-4 groups, and the works will be divided, and everything will be done in a structured way. So that started happening after this training. This 18, they all are young. I think the average age group is 30 to 32. So they are now handling it. And since then, Jawad was there, and then 2022 it was Sitrang, and then this Remal this year, Remal and Dana this year. So now we have a far better network. I mean, at least say for we have a network where we can reach 10 to 12 villages at a time. We are trying to expand more than that, but in all these villages, we try to ensure that the evacuation process, the shelter management process, everything is done comfortably before anything happens due to cyclone and all. And we ensure the security not only of human but also the livestock, because I think that the concept of damage and loss is not only depend on human casualties. So, but unfortunately, on an average, only human casualties are being considered as damage and loss. But this is not. The pond, the fish, livestock, everything is related to this casualty. Everything must be counted, and just like that, we also did survey, and we now have format through which we can at least have a very clear knowledge of how much damage is being done in which aspects. So this is the thing as a whole, and two three points I would like to add. That is, shelter management is very important, which is very neglected in our region. We tried our heart and soul. We tried heart and soul and our best to establish how to manage a shelter, and not only our effort. We try to bridge between the government initiative, like in our hospitals, in our primary health clinic, they have some objectives, they have some directives that they do during this disaster. They have some forms and formalities. I don't know about the survey, but some services are there. So, but in a village level, we get to see that they don't know about all these things. So, through our network, we also talk about all these things, that this is to be done, and this is so this is how we are trying. But now, and for news, news is a very important thing before and after, or during the cyclone, and that is absent also. We see one thing, that in news, in the mainstream channels, you won't have much news, much proper news about the disaster, what happened to this. Nothing, almost nothing. Since Amphan, we are observing it, so we have to develop this kind of news and format also, that in news, what would be the points that we have to talk about, how we have to present those in on behalf of our community. So so this year we are trying to we developed something, but this year with our female group, women group, we are trying to establish a community media center through which they can make publish news, video writing, and every best possible way through which they will write their work and the news of this disaster and the effect of the disaster through this community media center. And we would like to, we're looking for the equipments, because these young guys, they work day and night before and after this disaster without any proper equipment, just the common race they have. So this is something we want to have. And another thing is we are thinking of a ham radio network, because that will help us better. That because ham is independent network. That is what we need. And last point, I would like to add that comparing the situation of Amphan and Yas, we now are successfully we have established that network, through which we can at least say that we have at least 3-4 villages in which we are able to lower the damage. And lastly, we are almost about to publish one manual through which we can propose a new crop calendar, through which I hope that by following this new crop calendar, our farmers will be able to save their crop, at least we can lessen the damage. This is because this manual is basically based upon the practice we have been doing for last 3 years with indigenous seeds, with experimental timelines. We have made
Remember,
experimental.
you have
So-
1 more minute to conclude.
Yeah. So this is the concluding line, that we are trying to do this manual, publish this manual for farmers, not only in our region in South Sundarban, but also for the whole Sundarban, that can help the farmers to make their damage less. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is really wonderful hearing about, because you know something, we have been shouting and yelling and literally tearing our hair off, trying to make people understand that if you can't have local solutions for local problems, if
Mhm.
people do not understand the local context and take action accordingly, it is very difficult to get things to transform. It's not enough doing something one time. It's something that should be sustainable. And to do something sustainable, it has to be local solution, which is adapted to the local context. It has to be the local people who own the entire process. And that is something that you have done here. And so I must say you are a very inspiring example, and I'm also going to take your example to people, others. I mean, I feel like, although I do not have any hand in whatever you have done, but I really am very proud of what you have done, and I'm sure you'll go a long way in taking this forward. Something that you said made me think about something. You're talking about incidence visibility. It has been decreasing more and more every year. The more incidences we have of extreme weather events, the lesser and lesser coverage it seems to gain in the media, and the lesser donor interest we have, and so we have lesser resources to respond at the right time, right? So this desensitization that has taken place. I know people are so used to hearing about extreme weather events that they're forgetting the impact that it has on real people in real time. So how do we overcome that feeling of desensitization and that jaded feeling, and bring in that feeling, that passion, that people are suffering and they need support. And it's not that we need to keep holding their hands all their lives. They just need that particular incidental support to just tide them over that particular period, and then they can take it forward themselves. They just need to understand how to fish so that they can fish themselves and sustain their own process along the way. So this is something that I would like you to think about. It doesn't have to be today that you have to come up with an answer, but the way you are thinking, you and your friends have been thinking, and the way you are engaging with the local population, and how the whole thing is working out in your case, I would like you to take this that challenge. This is something that we are all facing. back to your friends, back to the people that you are working with, and brainstorm in terms of what we can do to overcome this. And I like your idea about the community publishing, community radio kind of thing. And maybe what we can do is through we are all connected with a lot of alliances and networks. Maybe those video clips, those articles, small things, stories, songs, poems, whatever it is, whatever the output is, maybe we can all take action in spreading it out, so that there is something that is in the news. Whenever we stop talking about something, people tend to forget it and move on to the next thing, until and unless we keep it alive deliberately. So it is very important that it is not only produced, the output also needs to be shared and communicated to as much wider audience as possible in order to keep that discourse alive. So that is something I think all of us can work together with you. And we would also love to hear how we can support you, maybe in the open house if we find some time. But thank you very much for this discourse.
Thank you.
So what I will do now is, without further ado, I will move on to Ms. Debangana Roy Choudhury. And from Debangana, we want to hear about the climate adaptation initiatives driven by youth. Debangana is another one of our, I would say, youth prodigies. She is a member of Youth Conclave Warriors of Green from India and a fellow of Priya International in Youth-led Climate Action Program. She has worked on the health of the women in the disaster-prone areas of parts of Sundarban and North Bengal. Debangana, over to you.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to let me speak over here today. It's a pleasure to speak. Okay, so we are talking about the climate resilience, and I'm actually floored away by all the fellow members what they were saying. I was listening so deeply. So we are talking about the climatic resilience. In this concept, one of the major thing which comes in the climate is the climatic adaptation, right? So this climate adaptation and the resilience, it just goes hand in hand. It goes together. So as we all know that this climate change is a global phenomena, right? So anyone living in this earth, it cannot happen that anyone is untouched by the effect of this climate change. So we are all at risk, but of course the effect of this climate change, the effect of this risk, the vulnerability, it actually differs from one place to the other. It is not this, it's not same everywhere. So our climatic adaptation techniques will also differ from one place to the to another. So if I want to say about what climate adaptation is, so it is nothing but the but reduction of the vulnerability, the risk in the current scenario, and also for the future. So we are assessing the risks for the future as well, and we are trying to reduce the risk as much as possible. So this risk will be always there. So but we have to find the ways by which we can reduce these risks. So this is all about climate adaptation, and how we can do that is we can implement certain mitigation strategies. So this climate adaptation and mitigation strategies together will build the climate resilience. So when we're talking about climate resilience, I just want to mention 2 points over here which I have noticed is that first is this building climate resilience is, it cannot be done by only giving away the strategies to the vulnerable people or the community. What is more important here is to look for the proper implementation of those strategies. That is number one. Another is, second is, when we are thinking about this climate resilience, we have to go for the participatory mode of research, where we are allowing the local community to to put certain input in our research, where we are working in collaboration with the community. So starting off with the understanding the problem, to assessing the risk, and also to develop the strategies. So in all the processes, we need engagement of the community. So their opinion, their decision, their input is very important. So here, this local people will act as the main responders. So so this is the second point, which is very important for building the resilience. The more importance will go to the local youth, because they are more prone to the climate change. Also, also they are facing this climate change. They are in the vulnerable zones. They are more facing the problem on a daily basis. Their knowledge, their experience is much more than the researchers who are going there. So this implementation of these strategies, and as well as the including this participatory form of research, working in collaboration, this requires a lot of energy, a lot of input. So hereby the role of the youth comes in. So where the youth will not only they will research, they will work, they will make sure that the implementation of the strategies are going fine and fruitfully. They will also work for spreading the awareness in the vulnerable zones, in the local people. So these are the two things. Now, as we're talking about the role of the youth, I want to quickly share a slide which shows the work of the youth in the vulnerable zones. Wait. Is it showing the screen? Hello.
No, we
No,
can.
Devangana. Gursimran, can
No,
you help?
no. Yes, yes.
I don't know what is happening here. Wait.
You can share the presentation in chat box. I will share the.
Okay. Wait. I think it is showing now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thing is visible.
Okay.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So okay, we will go. So this is the climatic adaptation in one slide, where we are showing that both the mitigation and the adaptation has to go together to build the climate resilience. Okay, it is about the urgency of going for the climate adaptation. So here are some of the images where we are working with the this is the picture of North Bengal in Madarihar. So where we are engaging the children of that area to make them understand about the mini weather station, So that is what Nilanjana was speaking about, that about the keeping the day-to-day report of the weather patterns, so that the children can understand about the climate change. So here we are spreading awareness of among the children, and to understand the techniques of the weather station. So here the instruments which we are trying to show is it includes rain gauge, uh, climate 6s thermometer, hygrometer, so that the children can also learn practically. They can learn about climate change. They can become more aware and understand about the climate change. So okay, in the next image, we can see that here the volunteers of PRISM, actually they're working on the field to build the awareness of natural farming. So here, here comes the importance of the indigenous seed culture, the importance of it, and how it helps in a fruitful agriculture. So here also the local youth members, the volunteers, they are also making the children aware of the importance of the natural farming. So basically they are all engaged more or less in the agriculture system. So here the awareness program is for natural farming. So in this image here, we are sitting with a woman of those in the villages of Madarihad, where we are making them aware about their health and hygiene. We are talking about menstrual hygiene as well, and we are relating those health problems with the climate change. So we are making them aware. We are helping them to open up and share about their health problems to us. Uh, Here also in the second image, where we are taking a men of age between 18 to 35 years, we are making them aware of how this climate change is important. Basically, this is an awareness program where they also are understanding about the mini weather station, so that they can keep a daily report of the climate change. In the third image also, here we are sitting with the uh, uh, basically the students, the female of the school and colleges. So we are also discussing and making them aware of the menstrual hygiene, how this climate change, and we are taking the information of how this climate change has drastically affected their health. A shortage of water, everything was associated with it. So in the last, this is the last slide, where this is some of the glimpses and picture of Sundarban. Basically, in the first image here, this is also some climatic adaptation strategies and techniques, where in the first image, the soil from the other outer areas, they are digging the soil from the outer areas, and they are elevating one plot of land, so that it is devoid of saline water or water logging. So in that particular elevated land, the cultivation will be done, and also the crop will be not affected by the water logging or the flood or anything. So this is one of the adaptation strategy that they are making. The local youth, they are working for it. So this is one. In the second image, they are together, they are working for multiple cropping. uh, as we have already heard about this change of crop calendar, because of the climate change, the crop calendar, basically it is also changing. Keeping in mind of the new crop calendar which is coming, so here we are cultivating the crops. We have to go for multiple cropping. So here two crops are grown, and inside by side by side, where the water logging is being seen. So here also fishing is, the farmers are performing some fishing activities. So this is another example of climate adaptation. In the third image here, in down, this is the barrier or the boundary of the which is there in between the two agricultural field. So here when water is there in all around the agricultural land, or the agricultural land is basically for the rice cultivation, this boundary also is being used to cultivate certain other crops. So this is the brinjal plantation which is there going on in the boundary as well. So these are some of the adaptation strategies which has been implemented here in Sundarban. Okay.
Devangana, request you to conclude in the next 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes. So that this was actually the last slide. Thank you. One more thing which I just at the end I just want to add is that all the things which whatever we are discussing here today will come under the under one shed, which is localization. We have to keep in mind the we have to give importance to the practices, the language, and the culture of the local people, and thereby perform our research and finding the way outs, the strategies, whatever we want to do. So this localization is very important, and this will be my last thing to say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Devangana. And you brought up some very, very practical examples. I think that will help other people to think about some more as well. Bouncing off the foundation of what you said, and trying to think of something more innovative, more local. But whenever I hear the word localization, I get this feeling that localization is something of a homogeneous concept to some people at least. It's not by definition. Localization has to be it has to have that element of diversity, because without looking at the particular community, that particular context, whether rural, urban, whatever the context may be in geographical sense, whatever the context may be in sociological sense, economic sense, you cannot customize that solution. And there are a lot of solutions in hand, but all solutions are not replicable everywhere. So we
Yes.
don't really have to run and find a use for every solution in every single place. We don't have to put a square peg in a round hole, but we can take that idea and customize it to that context, and see how useful it can be. And that can only be done when you talk to people. It's
Yes.
it's not possible for any single person to sit in a particular desk and a chair and think, I don't make light bulbs out of it. It's just not possible. You have to go to that particular place, you have to talk to people, and without their contribution it is just not possible to bring out localized solutions, because problems are local. Problems are based on the dynamics that has come up in that local area, and that local and the livelihoods and the culture and the mindset and the taboos and the social norms that is there in among that local people. But
Yes.
without talking to people, you just can't design something and call it a community-based DRR program. It's just not possible. So
Yes.
thank you, Devangana, for showing some very interesting practical solutions. And I think people can outright replicate it in some places, and maybe just bounce off their ideas on the basis of these solutions and think of their own wherever possible. So thank you for that. It's been a very insightful presentation. And moving on, we have another youth champion with us, called James Kimanzi. James is going to talk about innovative solutions by youth for climate resilience. And let me introduce James to you. He is an active member of the Kenyan Peasants League and Youth Conclave, passionately advocating for climate justice, community empowerment, and sustainable development. With a background in community organizing, he has been involved in various initiatives, including the formation of the Nurture Wave Network to address safe water access in Machakos County and promoting organic agriculture through the KPL Food Cooperative. He is dedicated to mobilizing young people to take an active role in shaping a greener and more resilient future. Totally believes in the power of youth as change agents to driving meaningful environmental and social transformation. And over to you, James. I really, really look forward to hear what you have done in your context. James, are you there? Gursimran, would you help me find out if James has been able to log in or not?
Yes, yes.
I can't see him though in the participants section. Aniruddha, are you there?
No, Devadita, he is there.
Ma'am,
is there?
he's there, ma'am. He's there.
Is there? Maybe he's having difficulty unmuting or
He is
something.
He is from Kenya.
Yes, I know.
He's from Nairobi, and maybe he's facing some difficulties. Let me just talk to him. Let me
Sure.
try calling him. Hmm.
We will wait. No problem. In the meantime, I can take a look at the chat and see if there has been any questions. And in the meantime, any speaker who used a presentation, I'm requesting you to share your presentation so that the audience can also take a look at it at their leisure and maybe share those examples further. I request the audience also to take a look at the chat. Some very interesting comments have come up here. Something I think that should be interesting to all of you. But I don't see any question as such over here yet. If you have any questions, do please share it on the chat box. We will take it up if we can find a little bit of time for open house. If not, I'd request Gursimran to connect with the speakers and share the questions back to you, the answers back to you over mail. Is that all right,
Yes.
Gursimran?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, by the way, Devadita, I spoke to James. He will be joining.
Yes.
Maybe Indian culture and their cultures are different. So it is.
That's
He
fine.
He has said that time is over. So can I? So I said yes. Devadita is
No problem.
calling you. Okay, he will be joining shortly, and it is a good moderation. Thank you. I am taking this opportunity to just thank you all. Of course, in the valedictory session, I will say this. I am listening to all of you. Thank you.
So in the meantime, while James joins, would anyone like to come up? Please, do not mind the time restraint. I can give Parhead only 1 minute or so to speak. If anyone would like to share anything, you can unmute your mic and share, but you need to control yourself and share your complete thought in 1 minute. Is there anyone who would like to share anything? Any further points from our speakers? Okay, I can see
I would like to
Srinivasa
speak.
Raoji's question. Yes, who is this?
This is Ejaz Mir. I'm from Jammu and Kashmir.
Hello, Ijaz. What is your point to make?
Yeah, I just listen to the speakers, but my point is that how we will take the sustainability of such groups which they have formed, and we exactly have formed the same thing, and we have executed the same thing after floods 2014, which you might have seen as well in the news at that time during 2014. So after that, we have been working for 5 years, but how we can sustain those groups, if we can see any disaster coming after 10 years, how we can sustain those groups, that is my only question.
Yeah, Devadita, I would like to answer that question.
Please go ahead, Aniruddha.
Yeah. Hi. Um, Good afternoon. Uh, this is actually your question is how you will sustain, and you have already so what you have already done is not that important, but the process needs to be start initiated. And what I believe that from Pathar Pratima Nilanjan has said something from uh, Bangladesh. This thing, KK Mondol, he has Krishna has said something, and Devangana also had said something. So all these are some initiatives they have taken. They are not talking about, because my point is that for sustainability, uh, neither you nor me nor anyone else can say anything how it will sustain, but the process needs to be initiated. If you have initiated, if you have started some process, then try to share that what you have achieved, and what are your problems. Maybe you are facing some problems, so what are your problems? So try to share those things in a bigger network. So Sphere India Academy is a larger network that way. So it is a network where we are sharing, and that way we are also learning. So uh, I believe that your question you have asked about sustainability can be answered that way only.
Yes, my question was all about sustainability because
Yeah.
since Kashmir have witnessed human-induced disasters as well, so we were connected with the rest of the world for near about 3 years due to certain issues. I would not like to highlight those issues here, but this is somehow we have started the things on a disaster resilience. We have involved the youths, we have involved female folks into it, so that they can be the needful a power tool during any disaster. So if there is any network so that we can connect in that, we can share how we have started, we can actually put our case studies there, so that rest of the speakers can understand it clearly, and we can come onto certain things so that it can be a very useful mechanism for all of us.
Yeah, thank you for saying so. At the same time, I would like to share one thing, that is the point Nilanjan Mishra has mentioned. You might have noticed. He said about one organization, one agency. So he approached that agency for a 5-day training program. That was a residential training program. But I'm not saying that those 5 days training program actually made them uh, totally equipped. So that 5 days training program was some sort of sensitization. They were sensitized, and it took a lot of time. I am personally, I have experienced that it took a lot of time for Nilanjan and Pathar Pratima runners people to just talk to them, because it is a voluntary action, and these voluntary actions are very very difficult unless you sensitize them that localization, it is similar to contextualization. Because Pathor Pratima is a, in Sundarban areas there are many such villages, many such areas. So problems in Pathor Pratima is different than problems in Hingalganj or problems in Sundarban, the Sandeshkali. So my point is that your problems are different. In Ladakh, uh, it is very close to your place. So from Ladakh, some people they have marched to Delhi, up to Delhi. That was a long foot march. So I am not talking about any political issue, but the point is that uh, these things are happening. So Climate Action Resource Network is one network, one larger Climate Action Resource Network Asia Pacific. It is a network for the Asia Pacific region, and we have already initiated one this thing, that is Youth Conclave. Youth Conclave is something so that from the climate Action Resource Network Asia Pacific, we need to give importance to the younger generation, so that it is not only that we are not getting hurt, we are not getting disappointed, nothing.
Dada,
Yeah.
James is here.
Yes,
So maybe
yes,
we
ma'am.
can.
James.
Okay, James, please.
Yeah. So, James, my apologies that you had to leave and then come back. What we will do is, I have already introduced you and your topic. You go straight ahead to your presentation or your address, however you want to take it. And we had been having some open house questions, but I don't think we will have a lot of time to address the questions right at this point. So in that case, I am requesting all the people who are present here as part of the audience to write down your questions in the chat box. And Gursimran has undertaken, he has committed that he will share those questions to the speakers of today's session, and the answers will reach you over mail in the next week itself. So I hope that is a process that you would be agreeing to. Otherwise, we would be running very much out of time. James, it's over to you. You have about 15 minutes. Even then, we will be running a little over time, and I'm requesting your patience in bearing with us. Over to you, James. James, are you there? I could see you there. James, can you hear me?
Hello, James.
I could see you enter. I could see you there in the last few minutes.
Yes, ma'am. But I think he's
He has
facing
dropped
some
out once again.
difficulties.
Okay, okay, okay. Dada, could you give him a call once again?
I'm again trying.
Okay, okay, sure. So in the meantime, whoever has
Hello.
not,
Hello, James. Hello.
in the meantime, whoever has not yet put their questions in the chat box, I'd request them to do so.
Please unmute yourself. Please unmute first. Yeah. Yeah, we are in the meeting. Yeah, please come and say.
James, please go ahead. You have 15 minutes in hand to complete your address. Also, to come back to you, Ejaz, you can share your case studies and your information with the Sphere India network. We have this knowledge building initiative, which is a Sphere India Academy. You are very well aware of that. This webinar is also being co-hosted by them. So they have this way of, preparing a repository of all case studies and information and all that. And they will also be, trying
Ma'am,
to.
James is here.
Yeah, I'll come back
He's
to
here.
you, James, in just half a minute. So they will also try to connect you with the right people and in the right discourses and in the right discussions. So I would request you share whatever you are doing, your achievements, your highlights with the Sphere India network. Specifically, Michelle would be the right person to send it to. Thank you, James. You are most welcome. Please go ahead, since I've already introduced you and your topic. You have 15 minutes in hand to complete your address. James, can you hear me? I think he's having some problems. He has dropped off again. Aniruddha, I think we might have to do without James if he's not able to connect.
I am trying to connect him again. However,
Maybe we can bring him into the next webinar that we have
yeah,
next week. Maybe on 11th we can bring him.
Maybe they have some problems.
Yes.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't
yes,
know.
sir.
Yeah, is it James?
No, it's me,
No.
Gursimran
Okay.
Singh.
Okay.
So
Gursimran.
maybe Aniruddha, we can bring him in on the 11th
Yeah.
webinar that even Professor Tawhidul will also be there.
Okay.
So for now, maybe we have only 4 minutes left. So I would request Gursimran to go for the vote of thanks. But before you do that, Gursimran, my earnest and heartfelt thanks to Aniruddha, who is the architect of this entire program design. And, he has been relentlessly working towards risk mitigation and adaptation. Even when these were not buzzwords, these were not very fashionable keywords that people used to, talk about or argue or debate. I have seen him relentlessly spending his entire resources on finding mitigation solutions and adaptation solutions and
Sorry to
working with
interrupt you,
children and
ma'am.
youth in the very rural and very very unconnected parts of West Bengal and rest of India. So thank you,
Sorry to
Aniruddha,
interrupt
for
you, ma'am.
carrying forward this passion. And what we will do is
Hello,
we
I'm
will.
audible.
Is
Hello.
that James?
Ma'am,
Is it
James
James?
is here.
Okay.
So James, we will give you 15 minutes. We have already introduced your topic and you. So go ahead and let's hear what you have to say. Over to you. No, I don't think he's able to talk today. So
Yes,
let's keep today for James's address. Next week on 11th we will have another webinar. On that, maybe we can accommodate James and listen to what he has to say, because that is also something to do with children and youth in climate action. And I'd love to have James over there in that platform. And we would request all of you to be a part of that session as well. So concluding the technical session here, and over to you, Gursimran, for the vote of thanks and closure of the session.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Ananda sir, and our participant and panelists, especially our speakers. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this webinar, the insightful session. We will have more important webinar on these topics. So please stay tuned with us on our social media channels for regular updates on Spare India Academy. And thank you so much, all of you.
We are finally closing the session on time itself.
Yes, on time.
Thank you, Gursimranji, and thanks to Devadita and all other guest speakers and all the participants for actually giving us time. It is a good opportunity. It was the first of this session under this thing. Actually, young people, they will take the uh, initiative. It is that way it has been designed, and the senior people, those who can become facilitators, they will be the moderators. They will work as moderators and they can guide the younger people. And that was the actual design, actual plan of that session. And uh, every month there will be this type of sessions. One is on migration, one is more intensive on GIS and this thing. Geological information system and this thing, data processing, AI, and all these things. And likewise, there will be 12 more sessions. And I would like to thank you all for giving a good amount of time, and we are right on time to just finish this session. Thank you.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
And
Thank you
please
so
share your
much.
case studies and achievements with Clear India Network,
Yeah.
because we are also coming up with newsletters every month, and the newsletter for November is due. So if you want your case studies to be shared with all India readers, please do share them with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.